We start with our Newsmaker segment and examine another aspect of public works in Kansas City, Missouri. This week we're talking about folks who like to bike or walk or do both and advocate for government policies that enhance those activities. Joining me to discuss all of that is Eric Bunch. He is co-founder and policy director of the Bike Walk KC. Eric, welcome to Ruckus. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Most critical question, did you bike or walk to the studio?
I did a bit of both. I rode a bike share bike that I caught a few blocks from my house and rode it to the station that's just a block away from here. So I did a bit of both, walking and biking.
I understand May is Bike Month being celebrated in Kansas City. What kinds of activities have taken place?
Oh, so there a lot of cities are getting involved on their own, doing breakfast stops and commuter pit stops for bicyclists. One of the big things that's coming up is we have at Bike Walk KC, we have one of our biggest fundraisers of the year happening on Sunday this week called the Tour de Beer. So it's a cool bike ride tour of all of the fantastic breweries along the way. Everyone gets a little sample of beer along the way, so everyone kind of keeps it tame, but it's a lot of fun.
And they can find out, I assume, at your website?
Absolutely, bikewalkkc.org.
Okay. Bike Walk is an organization. How do you join it? Can anybody get in it?
Yeah, absolutely. Another part of May of Bike Month is we're actually looking for 100 new Bike Walk KC members. We also have the Bike Share System. We own and operate that, which is another membership program, but anyone can join us, join our events, but most importantly, become a member and join our mailing list and get involved.
How big is the organization now?
So as our staff is about 15 full-time employees and then about 20 or 30 part-time folks who do everything from work on bikes in our shop to go out and work with the youth of the Kansas City area. Okay,
I looked at your website. You have like 3 or 4 pillars of major things that you do. One is advocacy. So what do you advocate and to whom?
So advocacy is my primary role as the policy director. What we really strive to do is improve, big picture, we're advocating to ensure that the metro is a more bikeable, walkable place. And that means enhancing our streets to make them safer for people who want to bike. It means ensuring that public transit is accessible for folks who rely on public transit or who want to take public transit more. So that comes in a variety of forms at advocacy. It's advocating for policy. For example, we recently we were recently successful in a campaign to get a complete streets ordinance passed in Kansas City, Missouri. And what that does is it just ensures that anytime a street gets some sort of major maintenance or reconstruction, that it's going to be a more bike and pedestrian friendly place.
Do you see a lot of response from public officials with whom you deal?
Yeah, and I mean they're elected officials all over the metro, and in particular we have some champions here on City Council in Kansas City.
Who are they?
You know, a lot of them actually. We had 10 co-sponsors of our Complete Streets Ordinance, and then it passed unanimously. So that was everyone from the mayor to council members in the Northland, council members down here as well. And so we're a pretty non-controversial thing, and so in light of some of the more controversial issues, you know, the airport being one.
You're probably a welcome change of pace for the council.
In fact, our Complete Streets Ordinance went to full council for adoption the same day that the original MOU for the Edgemoor deal came up and was rejected. And so so we were, I think, a breath of fresh air from that controversy.
We're down to about a minute. Let me ask you a couple of other
Sure.
Key points about the organization. Education is one of your goals?
Yeah, education. We work with thousands of youth across the city, across the metro area, and so we take a fleet of bikes in a big box truck to elementary schools and work with lots of kids, and that's actually spurred on an Earn a Bike program where we work with kids for several weeks to get them to a point where they're fixing up bikes, and at the end they get a bike to take home with the helmet and lights and all that stuff, and we've given out hundreds of bikes through that. So education is a real key component to what we do.
And the final element, I think, is community planning. You do a lot of work on that, and I think you've been talking about that to some extent.
Yeah, community planning. So we actually, that's become a bit of a source of revenue for us as well, but it's great when you can align revenue generation with, so this is our entrepreneurial spirit at Bike Walk KC. And so we're fulfilling our mission while also, we're doing a lot of good, but also finding ways to fund our organization. That's a small part of our budget, but it's really important work that we do.
And the way people can find out more, your website again?
BikeWalkKC.org, and you can find all of our information there and learn about all of our upcoming
Eric,
events.
great to meet you. Thank you for coming in.
Oh, thank
Pleasure.
you. It was great.
That's Eric Bunch from Bike Walk KC. Now let's meet the panel and start a ruckus.